Welcome to another edition of your morning workout talk with your literary pharaoh. Yeah. Monday morning, man. Starting the work week. Or should I say starting the slave week? You know how that is. Working was not supposed to be something that was ingrained in our everyday existence that has now transformed into something that's mundane. A mundane existence means that you just go through the rigors. You go through the toil and you psychologically make yourself believe that the toil that you're going through is just the norm. So it allows your conscience and your eternal mental faculties to accept the treachery that you're in. So that's pretty much it. You know, the brain can psych itself out. You can be in a horrendous situation. You can be in something that's horrible. You could be in a really, really dire situation, but if you're in it long enough and you're breathing and you're still alive, the brain has a way. You know, it's a self-preserving mechanism that the brain goes into. It shifts into a gear where it makes the body and the cells in the body, you know, through synapses give messages to the brain. Then the brain is like, okay, then this is okay. You know, it's like the girl who continually gets abused by the man, but she stays in the abusive relationship because somehow, some way, she's convinced herself that that's normal. Not only has she convinced herself that that's normal, she has convinced herself that that's part of love. That love constitutes the ebbs and flows of ups and downs. Ups, he says he's sorry, he won't do it again. Downs, he beats my ass, and he's angry. And you look at a woman, you're like, why do you stay in a relationship like that? It's because they've trained the mind to accept that as the norm. Now, I'm not a psychologist by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of people might want to attach trauma. They'll want to attach trauma based to that action because trauma seems to be the buzzword nowadays. So if anybody's doing anything that's deemed to be unnatural or abnormal or unnormal or something that's away from the status quo, what they normally would do is say, well, this person must have dealt with some past trauma in their lives. So somehow, some way, now that they are in their adult life, the reason why certain things are manifesting the way that they are is because this is the way that they're dealing with their trauma. And trauma becomes something that's past tense, but in the present tense, it enables the person who's gone through that trauma to subject themselves to harmful behavior and subject themselves to things that are not going to be beneficial for them in the long haul or in the short run. So people like to use the buzzword trauma. But you can say that. You can say it's traumatic as to why people allow themselves to accept things that are unnatural for them and make it seem normal. That could be, you know, that's a fair argument, but not all of it is trauma-based. Some of it is just us. You don't have to be through trauma, but you can be in a current situation that's horrible for you, but you make yourself believe that it's okay. And I think that the majority of Americans, if we all were pissed off enough and to rebel against the system, we have the power to flip it upside down. We have the power to invert the entire system if we want to, but too many people love the system because they've made themselves believe that this is normal. They've bought in, hook, line, and sinker. They think that, hey, this is what it is. This is the way it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to work. The harder I work, the better it is for me. So you become a good worker slave. Docile. Acquiescent to everything that you're told. Like a sheep. A brainless sheep at that. Because you lack the capacity to think for yourself. So, I mean, it's a slave week. Everybody is weakened by the weekend. That's what they call it, the weekend, because you're weakened. You work all week, So by the weekend, you are weakened. You're weakened on the weekend when your work week ends. So you're weakened. Slaves are weakened by the weekend. That's the way it works. And then you start the slave week again on Monday. You know? You may ask the question, like, how do we escape? It's not even, that's a good question to say, how do we escape? Because a lot of the times people say, how do I escape? It's hard. There's no I in team. We are a collective. We are a collective consciousness living different experiences through different vessels. So I am me, you are me, I am you, and just in another phase. Like, we're all the same. We're just operating on different frequencies, but we're all the same. Until we as a collective wake up and get angry enough to say F the system, then we can turn it around. Crush the voting system, crush the political system, crush the mainstream system, crush the pharmaceutical system, crush the healthcare system, crush the automobile insurance industry, crush that. Crush everything, crush the monetary system, crush the free market economy, crush the capitalistic system, crush all systems. All systems are made to be oppressive, but they're put here to make you believe that somehow, some way these systems are here to benefit you. They're not here to benefit you. They're here to make you more ingrained into the system, then you're bought into the system, and then you think that this is the way things work. Yeah, this is the way things work for people who are slaves. But if all the slaves rebel, there are more slaves than slave masters, if you understand that. And though the slave masters may pose as people who have the power, but what is your power when your power doesn't impact us? So in other words, if you threaten somebody with death or harm, if they violate a statute or if they violate a law, the only way that your power and your threat becomes powerful is because it instills a degree of fear in the person that you're trying to have that fear put upon, and then it allows them to actually, make different choices based upon that fear. They augment their behavior. They alter their behavior because they don't want to go to jail. They don't want to get their house taken from them. But if all of us didn't give a collective F, if we all didn't give a collective fuck about the system, and we're like, you know what, take whatever you want, I don't care about bills, I don't care about anything. If all of us did it though, it can't be one person doing it, because if one person does it, you're just shit out of luck. No one's gonna come on your side, you're on your own. And then the system likes to make examples out of people. That's why they put people on the news who try to evade their taxes. They put people on the news who steal. But I've always said this, and you guys who follow me know this. The reason why people steal is because the government has been stealing from us. We are led by thieves. So when you're led by thieves, it produces thieves. When you run a system that's unfair, when you have a system that keeps people down, it keeps people down. We just, like I said, we made ourselves believe that being down is okay. And we wallow in the mire and the muck of depravity and think that, oh, this is okay. It's depraved living. You're not supposed to be waking up driving to work. That's not normal. Believe it or not, I know your parents did it. I know your parents' parents did it. I know for generations everyone has done it. That is not the norm. And I know it's hard for you guys to see it that way because that's the way it's always been. But just because something has always been a particular way, it doesn't mean that you have to acquiesce to it. It doesn't mean that you have to tell yourself that it's normal. Deep down, you know it's shit's not normal because you get angry when you have to go to work. You're like, oh man, I got to get up and go to work. Sometimes you wish you could sleep in. Going to work is not noble. It's stupid. The only thing you should be working for is yourself. Bettering yourself, worshiping yourself, taking care of your family, being innovative, being creative, things like that. But yeah, the only reason why they love to make examples out of people. So they'll have it on the news that somebody steals. They'll make an example out of somebody who steals. Especially anybody who messes with the government, like anybody who does any type of fraud. They give you a long prison sentence. Even so much so that people who murder people don't even get as long of a sentence as people who do fraud. You say, why do you say that, Literary Pharaoh? Because it's true. Look at the statistics. People who've committed egregious crimes compared to people who've done some type of fraud, like if you've if you've been fraudulent against the government, or if you've done something to evade taxes, especially anything that you do against the IRS, oh man, they'll lock your ass up for a long time. And it's not because you were hurting people. It's not because you were harming anybody, because you're not really harming anybody when you steal from the government, because the government can just print the money. You're not harming anybody when you steal from the government. When you steal from the government, no one's harmed. But the government, the world, the system has to make an example out of people who try to steal from the government, because they don't want people to break out the system. But if all of us stole from the system, they can't arrest all of us. There's not enough prisons to put everybody in. So then that's what you call anarchy, because the system starts to rattle, starts to shake. Then when the system starts to shake, it starts to crumble. And when the system starts to crumble, it starts to break down. When it breaks down, it's total anarchy, it's total chaos. And out of chaos comes light. Out of chaos comes order. Then you have a new world order, not the new world order that they are trying to institute. The new world order that they're trying to institute is to solidify the current system as it currently is constructed. They want it like this. They want tighter reins and tighter grips. They want to be able to control people much more, to track where you're going, to have a cashless societies where everything is digital, where they can actually control you with digital tech. Because if they can just push a button to stop your money, then you're done. If they say, well, you have to do X, Y, Z in order to get your funds, then you're going to do X, Y, Z. That's what slaves are. Slaves are controlled. So the more they move to a cashless society, the easier it is to track people and track funds. They don't want people to break out of the cipher. The cipher is the current slave system, the matrix that we are in. It's a cipher because there's no escape. All right? It's an enclosed cycle where you cannot escape. The only way we can escape is we. It's not I. Even a person that makes more money and says, well, I used to be poor, now I make more money. You're still in the system. You're still in the system. The amount of money you make or lack thereof is not indicative of you being in or out of the system. It doesn't play a role in that. It doesn't at all. So that's the system. It's not made. It's made for you to feel comfortable. It's made for you to buy into the things that they've put ahead of you. And again, they're pushing this political stuff in people's faces. I can't watch anything on television without seeing these dumbass commercials about what Kamala stands for and what Trump stands for. There's one commercial on the on this race, on this political race thing that's actually not even a race. It's dumb. I want you guys to understand what's going on. The political race between Kamala and Trump, it's not a race. It's called theater. It's no different than you sitting in a movie theater watching a movie. It's not real. Now, you can tell yourself that it's real in order to immerse yourself in the theatrics. So when somebody gets shot, if you think it's real, you feel it. But if you know it's fake, you're just going to watch it because you're just trying to extract some sort of entertainment value from what you're viewing. You have to start seeing politics the same way. It's not real. Now, some of you guys believe it's real because you think that there's a distinction between art and entertainment in terms of movies that are done in Hollywood and the news. I'm trying to tell you guys they're all the same. There's a convergence. They're all the same. They're not separate. You can't say, oh, politics and news is real world, real stuff, fact and truth, and the movies that I'm watching on Netflix or when I go to the movie theater or whatever I'm watching on Hulu is fake. No, they're all fake. It's your job as a critical thinker to extract truths from those things. Everything's a lie. Everything's fake. Everything's fakery. And I would argue even the reality that we live in, we're part of a holographic reality. And it's called a holofractal, meaning that it's a reality that's based off of one source but reflecting in different angles, and so it's causing multiple realities. This is why you have multiple dimensions within one dimension. But that's a whole deeper subject. I'm not here to go down that rabbit hole. But what I am saying is that when you guys are watching this political theater, which is what it is, it's theater. It's put here to cause divisions and cause people to just be emotionally disturbed. It doesn't do anything. They already know the outcomes. Remember when you guys were in high school and they had people who ran for class president? It didn't really mean shit. The people who were running for class president didn't run the school. Just because you're the class president for your class doesn't mean that you run the school. Guess who ran the school? The principal. Well, same thing with politics. The president doesn't run the country. The government that we see is a shadow government. There's another government. That's the real government that governs. And that government is instituted in banks. Banks run the world. Banks own America. That's why the free market economy and the capitalistic economy is a beneficial economic process that benefits the bankers. Going to war benefits the bankers. High interest rates benefits the bankers. Being in debt benefits the bankers. People who are sick and dying in the hospital bills benefits the bankers. Everything benefits the banks. Can't y'all see that slavery is ran from the hub of the banking system? So it's political theatrics. So there's a guy on a commercial, getting back to what I was trying to say earlier before I sort of digressed. And the guy's like, he's on a commercial, he's like, I'm not rich as hell. I'm gonna vote for, and this guy, like, I'm not gonna use the N-word because I don't want to get my my station. I don't want to get another strike, because if I get one more strike, then I'm banned like for life. I've already had like 4 strikes against me, and most of my strikes are on accident because I'm just talking. I don't have notes. I'm just saying what's on my mind, and if I say the magic words that this YouTube algorithm tries to detect, and they use that to flag me, and they give me a strike. So this guy is a typical N-word, man. Like, he's an N-ish. I don't want to say the word. I'm not rich as hell. I'm not gonna vote for Trump. And then they show him at a gas pump, right? He just looks miserable. They show him at a gas pump, and he's sitting there saying, Kamala is trying to lower taxes and help the lower middle class. I'm like, you idiot. Like, how are you this old and you don't see what's going on? They've been running the same scam on people for years. It's the same freaking topics. It's the same concerns. Nothing ever freaking changes. It's the poor people wanting a handout, and it's the rich people not wanting taxes to be increased on their end. But it's not even what they want. It's what the system pushes forth to the average man. And so the average man, us, people who are sitting watching this bullshit, we start to feed into the narrative that they're giving us. It's always been about, increasing taxes on the wealthy so they can pay their fair share. And they pay their fair share and make it easier for. No, it doesn't work that way. That's not true economics. That's trickonomics. It's tricking you. The money printers could do whatever the hell they want. It has nothing to do with raising taxes on the rich. Even if taxes were raised on the rich, so what? The rich are still going to be. It has nothing to do with that. It's a flawed system. It's a clown show. The system in and of itself is already corrupt, folks. It's a built-in trap to make dumbasses like that guy on the commercial speak the way he's speaking. And I'm not for Trump or Kamala. I could give a damn. Both of them could get flushed down the toilet for all I care. I don't give a F about politics. And then I don't care who you vote for. I don't care who you're for. I'm not for anybody. I'm for myself. I'm for myself, and I'm against the system. I'm for people, and I'm against the system. I'm against the system that gives me 2 politicians and tells me that I have 2 choices to choose from. So the illusion is to make you believe that you have choice. That's the illusion. But the reality is you have no choice. Whatever person you pick, you're still picking somebody that's still part of the system that's oppressing you. I want you guys to understand that, to get it clear through your thick freaking skulls. There's no choice. Even when you go try to get automobile insurance, they're all part of the same system. They just have different names. Whoever you pick, you're still choosing to be part of the system. Any school you want to go to, you feel like you have choice in what school you go to. They're all part of the same system. You feel like you have choice in whatever college you go to, still part of the same system. The system is to put you in debt. You have to understand the purpose of a system. When you understand the purpose of a system, then you understand that the system is just one big system. They're not multiple choices or multiple options that you have within the system. There's no choice in systems, because the choices that you have is the system. If you understand what I'm saying. The choices that you think you have, because it's all an illusion, you think you have the choice. That's part of the system. The system is put here to make you believe that you have the choice, but in actuality, you have no choice. But if that makes you psychologically at ease and keeps your mind stable and inserts a bit of sanity in your well-being, then so be it. That helps you sleep better at night, to make yourself believe that you had a choice in the matter. Nah, you have no choice. You're picking in the same system. You're picking in the same system. And the purpose of the system is to keep you entrapped. Dumbass. At the gas pump, I vote for Kamala. Or anybody who says I vote for Trump because of this. It doesn't matter who you vote for. They're all the same people. These people are friends. These politicians are actors. I've been saying that. You guys think that I'm not using hyperbolic or figurative language when I say they're actors. They're literally actors. Just like Denzel Washington is an actor. These politicians are actors. Kamala's an actress. Most of these people don't even have the credentials that they say that they have. Have you ever heard of crisis actors? People who are interviewed during a crisis and they can just cry on demand, and they can speak with emotion to drive a certain narrative to people, to get people caught in emotionally, to tug at the heartstrings of the people. Emotional appeal is a very, very strong weapon to use in order to get people to oblige and get people to kind of acquiesce and cow down to whatever is being told to them. The emotion drives people. It does. It shouldn't. Logic should, but we allow our emotions to drive people. That's why the news uses emotional appeal to get to us. I was watching a football game yesterday. Sunday night football. Dallas Cowboys against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And before the game started, they were showing the commercial of Hurricane Helen. And guess what they did? They started playing the sentimental music, the piano. Dun, 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 dun. And then the guy in the background is like, yeah, a horrible event that happened. You donate, talking about donating to the Red Cross to help those people out. Like, I'm like, man, that whole thing was staged. That whole storm was manufactured. Hurricane Helen didn't have to happen. It's a land grab. What these people are using, they're using weather to take over land. Uprooting people from their areas to take over, to build these little smart cities that they want to build. This is how you keep the rich on top, by using weather as a warfare to decimate. Because, like I told you guys, it's more of us than them. It's hard to stay at the top. It really is. It really is. Just like, let me use a sports analogy for an example. As great as Kansas City Chiefs are, because they're trying to win, back-to-back, like three-peat Super Bowl, to try to win like 3 straight back-to-back, which has never been done, I believe. It's hard to stay at the top because everybody's gunning for you. Well, take that same parallel, that same construct of parallelism, and let's take that, let's transcend that into the normal existence of normal everyday life. It's hard to stay at the top when you oppress people that are more than you. You can only keep them dumbed down for so long. So what do? You use weather as a weapon, but you call it a natural disaster. So what you do, you decimate regions. You take people's lands, not by force with a gun. You use something that you can deem to be natural. So now you have a scapegoat. It wasn't me, it's nature. Okay, nature comes, destroys areas, takes people's lands, and then the government swoops in. These vultures, they swoop in, and they start to feed on the vulnerabilities of the people. They start to make people sign these duplicitous contracts, which states that, hey, we're going to help you, but not knowing that you're signing off for a loan, and when you don't pay the loan back, when you don't pay, because there's no such thing as free money. It's all loans. All right, it's all loans, because when they can put you in debt, they own you. You become a slave. When you go to college and you don't have a full ride scholarship, you are going to inevitably become a slave in the long run, because after you graduate, you're going to owe thousands of dollars. And then whatever you owed is going to double in time if you don't pay it, because of the interest that it accrues yearly. You spend your whole freaking life paying off that debt. So that's the same thing that's happening to these lands. Even the thing that happened in Maui. They talked about, oh, the storm. No, they use direct energy weapons. These people are using technology, folks, and I don't know how many times I need to say it for you guys to understand what I'm talking about. Weather does not do that. There's no such thing as hurricane season. That's anthropogenic induced form of governance and oppression that's been put upon the people. It's anthropogenic because it's by the hands of men. Nature doesn't do that. Nature is balanced. There's no extremes with nature, just like there's no extremes in the human body. When there's an extreme in the human body, it lets you know that there's something toxic within the human body. So therefore, symptoms of extreme measure, or symptoms that are deemed to be extreme, end up happening as a symptomatic response to the toxin or toxins that are being excreted out the body. When the body has an immune response, all right, when the lymphatic tissues, or let's just say immune response, because that's what everyone is used to saying, immune. Let's say immune response. But there's another system that's actually more important than it's not really called immune response, but let's keep it that way because that's the term that you guys are normally used to using. The immune response, when you have an immune response, then you have those symptoms. The earth is the same way. There's a lot of parallelisms. You have to understand how to take one concept of truth and take that one concept of truth and transcend it into another element, into another referent, and apply the same principles to another referent, and then you can start to make sense out of things, because everything functions the same way. It may have different terms, it may look different, but the same principles still abide. Okay? There's no such thing as extreme weather. The reason why weather is extreme is because they're using technology to shift air masses to cause these things. So that's what they do. They use emotional appeal. Dun, 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 playing a little piano in the commercial. And they're showing, they have to get you with the visual. They have to get you with the sound. Okay? They have to get you with the words. It's a three-pronged attack. You see it, you have the music, all right, to put you in a hypnotic state, to feel sorry for these people. And you should feel sorry for them, because it wasn't a natural disaster, though. See, we live in a fear-based system. The Matrix system is a fear-based system to make you believe that there's a virus that's going to come out of the ether to attack you. Nature is going to attack you. Bacteria is here to attack you, not knowing that there's a harmonious balance between good bacteria and bad bacteria, that good and bad bacteria are supposed to exist for our living. Like, we need that. You don't try to eliminate all the bad bacteria, and you definitely don't eliminate the good bacteria either, but you need the good and the bad to coexist in order for life to flourish. You need both. It goes back to that yin and yang principle, light and darkness. You see what I mean by taking a simple concept and transcending it into a different referent? When I say a different referent, I mean something that's a different topic. So when you're talking about light and darkness, you're talking about the cosmos. But when you're talking about bacteria, now you're talking about biology. You're talking about science. But both are you can still apply the same principle of opposites into everything. Opposites need to occur. Don't we have men and women? That's opposite. But when they come together, it produces life. You can't try to eliminate all the bad bacteria in life. But the world, the health industry, makes you believe that, you give you antibiotics, rid of the bacteria, anti this, anti that. No, If the body is put in equilibrium, the body heals itself, keeping both the good and the bad in a mitigating way where none of it is harmful. It's mitigated, it's controlled, and it's regulated. The body does that. But in order to sell medicines, because the pharmaceutical companies are the biggest drug dealers in the world, it's not the cartels, it's not people that are selling kilos of cocaine. The biggest drug dealers in the world are the pharmaceutical industry. You can take that to the bank. That's fact. That's not conjecture. That's not me saying something for clicks. If you want to know who the biggest drug dealer or dealers are, it's the pharmaceutical industry. They push more drugs than any illegal drug, than all the illegal drugs combined. $1 billion industry, but then they want to crack down on the war on drugs. Now, how about you crack down on yourselves? You guys are the ones dispensing drugs, because these drugs that you guys dispense have so many harmful side effects. I'm not the only one that have seen those stupid ass commercials with them playing songs with people laughing and smiling, and they're reading off the side effects. The side effects are you can even die, death, cancer. They're reading all these things, and these people are just jumping around all happy. I'm like, what kind of world are we living in? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. I'm like, am I the only one that sees this? But they put it right in front of our freaking faces. I guess because no one, I don't know. I guess when you're that brainwashed into the system, you believe in it so much that you can't even fathom the same system that you believe in being the culprit to your demise. You can't fathom that. You can't. All right, man. I'm here at my slave job. I just parked. So that's another edition of my morning workout talk. Again, there's no rhyme or reason. I didn't talk about working out. I just call it morning workout talk because it's the day that I worked out and it's in the morning. So it's my workout talk. But just to be fair, today we did, me and my wife, we did battle rope workouts. We did a lot of HIIT workouts. We did leg work, squats, did the little bench sits when you sit your back against the wall. But you're not sitting on a chair, but you act like you're sitting down. It really burns the hell out of our thighs. We did some, I don't know the names of these exercises, but we shuffled. I guess you could call it lateral shuffle. Yeah, lateral shuffles is for your legs, but we had like weights. So we would go side to side to side, side to side to side with that. We did jump squats, we did squats. Yeah, we had a good workout. On my watch, actually, I'll tell you guys how many calories I burned to let you guys know how hard I went today. If I could find it here. There it goes. Yeah, today is the 7th of October. It says here that I burned 722 calories. I don't know if you could, well, you probably can't see it. Let me show you guys. Can you guys see it? You see how it says the 7/10/2024? I don't know. There it goes. All right. 722 calories. All right. So that's what I did. And I worked out. We started working out at 4, and we didn't finish till about 5:20 something. So we worked out for about an hour and 20 minutes. But not straight. We have rest times of rest, but we're constantly moving though. Sweating. All right, guys, thank you for indulging me in another edition of your morning workout talk with your one and only literary pharaoh. And just take the things that I'm telling you guys seriously, man. Like, I'm not, I can't talk to normal people about the things that I'm talking about. So I just use this as a means to just talk, to get things off my chest, because I feel like if I held these things in, I'll implode. It's actually not good for my spiritual health. It's not good for anybody's spiritual health to hold things in. When you hold things in, when you hold truths in, it actually is not good for your chakras, especially your chakra that's dealing with your voice. All right, it's not good to hold things in. And whether I have 1 listener or 0 listeners, I don't give a damn. But as long as I get this message out, and if 1 person listens, that's good. And there are many other people that share the same sentiments as I. I'm not speaking as if I'm like the one. I'm like some sort of guru. I'm not a guru. I'm just expressing my views on a platform that allows me to express my views. But of course, this platform will cancel the shit out of you if you speak against certain things, because those things that you're speaking against are part of the oppressive system. Because think about it, if speech is really free, as they say it is, then no one should be penalized for speaking their mind. But there are certain institutions that are established, and they are part of the controlling mechanism that controls us. And if you say anything against them, those are the ones that control you. You will know who oppresses you by the one that dictates to you what you can and cannot say. That's who controls you. That's who controls you. All right, guys. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Take care of yourself, because your health is your wealth.